Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as I invite Rahul Kadri, I Am Kadri Architects, Mumbai, to please come on stage. Let's have a huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi. There are no slides, so I'm just going to be speaking. If you drill down and try to think of what is the one thing that we need to do, we need to focus on to solve the transportation problem, the one thing that can turn everything around that we need to focus on. So if you start looking at it, what is the transportation problem? At least for Mumbai, and probably for the rest of the country as well, but this is specifically for the city. Our transportation or mobility problem is basically overcrowded trains that run on time, are reliable, but just very difficult to get in and out of. We just need so many more of them. We have, at least in India, one of the best network of buses, but they're just not enough, and the streets are clogged so that they're just getting from one place to another in a BST bus is tremendously difficult. They just don't have the space to be able to move. If you come down from the high-speed trains to buses to walking, we know footpaths almost don't exist in the city. And cycling you can just forget about. There's just no safety at all to cycle. And this leaves us with our choked arteries, choked by the automobile. So it's the automobile which hogs the most amount of space in the city, clogs all the arteries, and actually takes away space from cycling, from walking, and from the buses. So overall, that's what the problem is in terms of mobility. If you look at how did we get here, what are the root causes? And I think there are three causes of how we got here. One is, it's an unintended consequence of land use planning. Land use planning in the 50s and the 60s basically came about to separate industry from where we lived. So offices and the service industry was really very small then. So there was industry, retail, and residential. And it was the unintended consequence of land use planning that we started placing where we worked and where we lived far apart, and then it's created this transportation problem. In itself, it was innocent. It wanted to keep pollution at bay, but it was this that led to the transportation problem because it was the end of mixed use. If you looked at older cities, or even Bombay earlier, Paidhoni area, or any of the older areas, people lived above, they had their shops, and then they had their workshops at the back. So most of the people walked to work. There was no need for a lot of commuting. So the first cause is land use planning, which we are beginning to change now and starting to be mixed use. The other is over-investing in the automobile. Most of our investments in the last 50 years, you would see as a city, have been for the automobile. And this is also a consequence of not having a single transportation authority which deals with transportation as a whole. In Bombay, we've had authorities, which is the Central which deals with the railways, and then there is a separation between the western, central, and the harbour lines. Then you've got another authority which deals with the BST buses. You've got another authority which deal with the roads, the PWD, and almost nobody to deal with the footpaths. It's because of this separation and no coordinated thinking for this that so the investments the city made were then only for roads and nothing else, because the other bodies were not controlled by the city. BST is being controlled by the city now, and hopefully there'll be a synergy. But till now, there was hardly a conversation between the city and even the BST. So, oops, this thing keeps going off. So these are the three reasons why, that's what's led to the transportation problem being the way it is. So if we try to map what consumers are actually using. So how many people use the train to commute every day? Is your hand? Okay, there's a fair amount. There are, in the city, the total commuters are 165 lakhs, of which 45 lakhs use the train. Yeah? So it's 90 lakh trips are made on the train. So 50% of all non-pedestrian movement happens by train in the city. The next lot is the BST, where 15 lakh people use the BST. So almost 30 lakh trips are made. And only 7 lakh people, so out of the 45 lakhs who go by train, another 15 go by bus, so that's 60 lakhs. 6 to 7 lakhs are the only ones who travel by car. But it's this segment we cater to, the automobile, more than anything else. 80 lakh people, 51% of the population in Mumbai walks to work. Right? 51% of the population walks to work. So 80 lakh people walk to work, and this figure is really not, when the government gives out figures, they actually just don't talk about this at all. They only talk about the rest of the population. They say, forget the pedestrian, we're going to talk about everybody else. But what we feel is, what we need to focus on is these 80 lakh people. So what are the solutions? And where should we invest our time and attention? The city or the state is investing 120,000 crores on a new rail system, the metro network. Fairly badly planned, but they are investing 120,000 crores, something that's investments in rail for the last, I think, 100 years have not been even 20% of this. So the amount of money we are putting into rail is significant. So we are creating 120 lakh new seats. There are 90 lakh seats presently. We are creating 120 lakh new seats. And out of this, 4 of the new lines are east-west lines. So this is significant because a lot of the population travels down to Dadar to actually change and then go up again. So that will all change. So our mobility in terms of rail is going to completely change in the next 5 or 6 years when these projects come online. We are investing in 3,000 new electric buses. But what are we really doing for the largest consumer group, which is 80 lakh people who walk, really doing nothing? There is no attention on walking footpaths at all. If we can shift this number, by just 10%. This 80 lakh can become 88 lakh or 90 lakh. Just 10% if we can shift. I think the entire transportation problem can be solved by focusing on that number. So, how do we do it? I think modifying the DC rules is one, where we're already beginning to think about this, where you're allowing mixed use, but we need to go further and kind of break the city up into neighborhoods of approximately a square kilometer. So we have about 426 square kilometers in the city. So I actually have 426 neighborhoods. There are an equivalent amount of sub-wards in the city. So they need to all govern themselves and have mixed use within themselves so that people can walk wherever they need to, and we need to change the norms so that as per the Indian urban planning standards, what needs to happen in each square kilometer is what we need to map. Do we have enough schools? Do we have enough recreation? Do we have enough markets? Do we have our fire stations, residential work? And then map the land use around those frameworks. Instead of these huge master plans and land use plans which we have, we need to start looking at the neighborhood level and plan more so that people can walk. There's a famous thing about the 500-meter, 5-minute walk. So that's, if you do 500 meters in each direction, you get a kilometer square. So that's one of the definite things we can do. Reorient our planning, reorient our master planning to be at the neighborhood level. The earlier development plan which had come out had actually hinted on this. The Singapore one, where they found all the mistakes, etc., had hinted on this, that local area planning needs to happen, and that's where the true planning will happen. That is something we need to speak to the urban planning ministries and revive this and make sure that kind of granular planning happens, because it's only through that kind of mixed-use planning will we begin to solve the inequities and the distances which we have. And even if we manage to do it, as I said, 10%, the difference it will make will cascade. With the 11 new metro lines we are making, we're going to be having 187 new stations. So that opportunity of 187 new stations, if we can plan these stations as commercial hubs, plan the stations as high density, again, which was a proposal in the earlier plan, where the FSI around the station would be higher, so you'd have true transport-led development, and make it such that accessing these stations, that at least the people who live within 500 meters from the station can access the station extremely easily. In fact, keep the private vehicle out, make it difficult for them to come in, only let buses and people walk in these zones. Just by doing that, if we can affect, the decisions that newer people are making, of instead of going by car, can now walk to the station and go, again, it'll make a tremendous difference. We also need to look at older solutions that have always been there, of converting major retail streets into pedestrian streets. It's worked in the past, it's worked all over the world, and there's no reason why it won't work here. But in India, we've somehow shied away from doing this, converting entire precincts into pedestrian precincts. There's a movement started in Haryana, I think, where they convert their streets, at least on Sundays, and make them pedestrian. But this is something we need to look at carefully and convert. Say, I think Charles Correa had a plan 20 years ago to convert DN Road into a pedestrian street. It's possible, especially now with the technology that we have of tunneling, where tunneling costs just 360 crores kilometer. It's very, very feasible to tunnel below and pedestrianize the surface. There have also been proposals by Brinda Somaya, Alan Abrahams, to create wide plazas, pedestrian plazas, connecting pedestrian hubs. So connecting Churchgate and VT. There's going to be a transportation hub in Mahalakshmi, where the Mahalakshmi station and 2 metro lines will actually, or the metro line and the monorail are all nearby. So creating an elevated plaza which is wide enough and park-like. I'm sure a lot of you all have seen the images. So those are really the kinds of solutions we need to see to promote pedestrianization. So my dream really is that we shrink road space for the vehicle. We encourage transportation in metro and in bus. And we have footpaths. Right now, many places don't have a footpath, but have footpaths which are really wide. I mean, boulevard-like, 6 meters, 7 meters wide, beautiful trees, birds, flowering plants, fruits on the trees. So that really becomes a pleasure to walk in the city. So if we focus on this one aspect, making the city much, much more pedestrian friendly, this focus on this goal can solve all the transportation problems we have. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As we still have 3 minutes, I'm just going to check if we can take some questions. Ladies and gentlemen, any questions from the audience? If so, I'm going to request you to please raise your hands. We'll have the mic passed on to you. Yes, we have a question from the lady here. Ma'am, if you can keep your hands raised.
Check.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Good to hear what you talked about, walk to work concept. Just an add on to it, there are factories like National Fertilizers, GAIL, Gas Authority of India. And I've been part of such. My whole childhood was National Fertilizers. We have, just to add on, I never had a two-wheeler till I passed down my 12th. We had a space wherein 3,000 families used to stay with one hospital, one shopping complex and one school, which is DPS, one of the best schools. And we never actually felt the need of having a vehicle. And trust me, if any of you get a chance, just visit these factories and the spaces, how they are designed. It's Gas Authority of India and NFL that I have seen personally. It's based on the same concept that sir has spoken about. So probably just an add-on to what you said and how effective the life it is and how good we feel staying in such places. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Most company towns are like that, whether it's Tata's, Reliance, whoever it is. And that quality of life is, but replicating it at the level of the city, where it's not one entity that controls everything, that's where the challenge is. But you're absolutely right, that those are the examples. And the other thing to add here is that the reason we had land use planning was pollution. But industries are much cleaner now. So having an industry in the zones where we live can happen now. So that need for separation isn't there. You can walk to work. And there are cities being planned like this now. So Shendra in Aurangabad is a township we are involved with, is planned on the concept, but there's nothing new about these. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.